so the word could be secret. But then he also wanted me blindfolded. Private, confidential, undisclosed. After a long moment, I had it. Classified. Bash's dark eyes glittered in the night as he stepped forward in heels that put him close to my 6'5" frame. Very good. Now, close your eyes. I'd been inside Bash's mansion enough times to know where he was taking me, even blindfolded. Through the front door, across the foyer, up the never-ending staircase. Walking down the hallway, I heard muffled sounds, as though there were people coupled up and already behind closed doors, and the further Bash took me, the louder the voices became. But there were no discernible words. It was more the breathless cries of men giving and receiving pleasure, and it made me hard as a fucking rock. Sounds like the party started without me, I said, a smile tipping my lips. Not where you're going, he replied. I heard the sound of a handle being pressed down, felt the soft rush of air as a door opened and I was led inside, and then the click of the door shutting behind us. Whatever room he'd led me to was dead silent. We were alone. Bash tapped the side of my blindfold lightly. You'll keep this on until you get inside, he said, keeping his voice low, as though he didn't want anyone else to hear him. Ah, so I'd be going through yet another door. I wondered at all of this secrecy, since usually these parties were informal, and if we wanted to wander off with someone, we did. Eyes wide open and lights on. But I trusted Bash with my life, and knew him well enough to know that he had to have a good reason for doing this the way he was. So I didn't think twice when I heard a second door open, felt his gentle hand on my back guiding me forward, and then heard him say, with a smile in his voice, Enjoy, my friends. Then he was gone, and yet I was not alone. I removed the blindfold, but I needn't have bothered. The room was pitch black. Not a window, not a crack of light coming through the door. I couldn't see a thing, but I could feel another's presence, sure as if they were standing beside me. I waited for them to speak, but the silence lingered on. They didn't say a word, and they didn't move, though they had to know I'd arrived. This must be part of the game, I thought. For whatever reason, we weren't allowed to see each other, and I'd venture a guess that speaking was out of the question as well. Something told me there was more at play here than darkness simply heightening our awareness and setting the mood. And that had a shiver running down my spine. If it's a game they want, it's a game they'll get. Opening my senses, I stood perfectly still and waited until I got a hint of where the man waiting for me was. My rapidly pounding heart was all I could hear for a long moment, until a faint sound, maybe a quiet exhale, sounded to my right, and I stalked in that direction slowly, letting my prey hear me coming. Would he run and make me chase him? Or did he want me to find him, waiting? With my hands slightly in front of me, I moved forward until my fingertips grazed against smooth material, cut with a cold and jagged line that ran vertically, a zipper. The smell of leather filled my nose as I slid my hands up the man's jacket. He didn't move, but I could hear his shuddering breath as I reached his shoulders and slipped my hands beneath the leather to feel the naked, tensed muscles there. He was maybe 3 or 4 inches shorter than me, and as I pushed the jacket down, I realized he wasn't wearing anything underneath. No shirt. Nothing to cover the solid muscle of his strong arms and chest. The leather fell to the ground, and then the man reached for me, his hands skimming up my arms, my shoulders, my neck, leaving goosebumps in their wake. There was something so tantalizing about a stranger touching me, wanting from me, as we stood toe-to-toe in the unlit room. I could see how the mystery of it all would make someone shy feel more bold and empowered, though that had never been something I struggled with. I had no problem telling someone what I wanted and when, which meant tonight's clandestine activities were